Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, Retro Nerd 09, and guess what? I'm doing another collection video because I've got a lot more stuff since my last collection video. And, well, I guess the last one was a bit cringy. And none of it was cut, so the video is much longer than it should have been. So now, we're doing this. And we're actually going to turn some of the stuff on. I got a vacuum, a blender, laptops. I'm going to turn them all on in this video. Just like I did I'm just joking. Anyway, there's a lot to go through. So after about a minute of yapping, I'm going to get right to it. And we're going to start right out here in my room. And then we'll go on to the closet. Don't you worry. There's a lot of fun surprises in here. Not a cupcake, thankfully, but yeah. So let's begin with our first item, shall we? My 2007 Durabrand TV, fresh out of the Salvation Army. With... Whoop. That's a bit loud, isn't it? And it goes with this Philips DVD 750 VR DVD video / VCR combo. I actually like this VCR because of that aesthetic. All the way the text is set up, I just kind of like it. Then here's the DVD.
Nathan, where's your remote?
Well, my stepdad just walked into the video. It's fine. Well, nothing else to say. I'll just shut it back off into its 2-week longer slumber. Next, I got this Saturday, actually. I got this last Saturday from shopgoodwill.com. Now, it's not an actual antique radio. It's a replica, but it's still pretty old. It's from 1988. Well, that's copyright inducing. Change it. That's pretty cool. Next up is my Sony Boombox CFD S01. It's not even plugged in. Don't even got a cord plugged into it. Man. Next is my PC setup. I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Now that you got your picture, let's go ahead and turn this baby on. You have a beautiful HP keyboard with a 2009 Nextlink Windows 7 desktop with a 2006 Gateway monitor, an external floppy disk drive by VST, a 2000s Logitech mouse, an attached external hard drive that does absolutely nothing, and these 2 speakers made by Altec Lansing. So you turn these on, then the desktop, then the monitor. And here we go. We're booting. Let's go! So, computer's got a 1 terabyte hard drive that I snatched out of an Xbox One so that it doesn't work anymore. I don't freaking care. But, yeah, I got a good PC, don't I? DVD drive has nothing in it. Why would I even want to address that? So, the thing with this external floppy disk drive is, every time I turn on this PC, I have to have it unplugged until Windows 7 boots, because otherwise it's going to try to boot to the floppy disk and give 0 F's about Windows 7 and not boot to that. So I got to unplug it, and then once Windows 7 boots, I can plug it back in, and all be nice. Goodness me. So on the computer, I got VirtualBox and GTA San Andreas. I like this desktop. And there's a random Nostalgia 2024 poster that I got from Aldi's on Saturday as well. We're not worrying about that. My professional-looking Epson WF-2530 without ink. Doesn't have ink right now. I'm going to have to get some ink for it. But yeah, in the meantime, I found out it was only $50 online, and I have a pretty stupid printer if it's gonna only cost $50 online. So yeah, screw that one. Let's go ahead and shut down Windows 7. I'll turn that off. Then the monitor, the computer will turn off by itself. The back here, where nobody ever looks, are two Pepsi Cola bottles. The left one's from 1962, and the right one is, it doesn't have a specific date, but it's from the 1950s. And that's it for the desk. That's a fitness watch. That's not a part of my collection, really. Beneath my bed are three things. First is a MacDonald record player that had actually been sitting in a local thrift store at the town I used to live in for 2 years. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. Next up is a Sears stereo system with cassette, 8-track, FM, and AM. And yeah, I guess it's pretty huge. And I forgot to mention the record player, which I don't even know if it works or not. But I bet you could spin me right round like a record baby round. And this thing is definitely bigger than your most. Next is the Sony DVD player that has progressive scan. Not sure what that means yet. It's a DVP NS425p. And it's pretty big for a DVD player, considering one of my other ones is like half the size. And, well, that's it for this. That's it for underneath my bed. Last thing to look at is the Oreck vacuum before we get onto my closet. Next is my 2002 Oreck XL vacuum that has no light. Some models have lights, some don't. It's a bagged vacuum, and it came with a manual, some accessories, 6-pack of bags, which originally had 8. One of them's in here, and one of them was used by the previous owner. And I got this at the Salvation Army for a whopping $24.99. Actually, good deal for old vacuums, because they usually go for around $100. So the model is an XL2320RH. The date makes no sense because it doesn't say 2002 anywhere. So I don't know why the date code's there. Guess you look up the date code, it gives you a year. I don't know. Let's go ahead and test this thing out in my closet because it's kind of loud. You can hear it from the other side of the apartment. So, yeah, so we're going to put it in the closet setup. It kind of muffles the noise maybe a little bit. So I have on earbuds because every time I turn this on, I want to turn it off right away because it's loud, to say the least. And I'm afraid of people going to complain while I'm vacuuming. So I don't think these earbuds do a pretty good job, though. Okay, let's go ahead and see how well this thing can do. So now that you have witnessed the true loudness of that thing, which, I gotta say, didn't do the best job at plugging my ears in, but I don't know. I was gonna start off doing something quick enough and going over the top shelf. The top shelf holds all my cassettes, VHS tapes, video games, and that's about it, besides my clothes. So first is an empty copy of, what was it? Mario Hoops 3-on-3, Resident Evil 5, Batman Arkham Origins, we got an empty case, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, NBA 2K12 2012, NBA Live 2008, Grand Theft Auto 4, Madden NFL 2012. Moving out of the Xbox 360 games, we have Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2 for the Xbox One, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Wii Fit Plus, and The Sims 3 for PC. For the VHS tapes, you got quite a bit, because I got about 70 of these. About 50 of these are which on the shelf alone. So, A Beautiful Mind, The Wizard of Oz, It's a Wonderful Life, The Coco Ain't It, Armageddon, Young Heroes of the West, which is a 3 VHS set, For Love of the Game, Forrest Gump. I'm Forrest Gump. Independence Day. Air Up There, Rudy. This tape, which has nothing on it, not even a sticker. Now and Then, Return of the Jedi Special Edition, Fools Rush In, Straight Talk Video Magazine, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Billworth, The Mask, Gone with the Wind, The Silver Chair, Vitamix Cookbook Video, The Bounty, Jerry Maguire, Lafayette Miracle 2, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Ernest Goes to Jail, haha, Lean, Mean, Fat, Reducing Grilling Machine Video Recipes, Cleopatra, Circle of Friends, Andrew Wyeth, Self-Portrait, Snow Hill, The Animal, What's the Worst That Can Happen, Cats and Dogs, Matthew, The Nutty Professor, Pearl Harbor, A Christmas Story, The Never-Ending Story, and that's the end of the VHS tapes for this part here. DVDs, Three Identical Strangers, Sky on Fire, The Breakfast Club, Goated Movie, Triple X, Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank, Abominable on Blu-ray, Paranormal Activity 3, which is an unrated director's cut, Fast and Furious 6, Home Again, some of these blank, very thin cases, Jason's Lyric, Mamma Mia, and 3 CDs featuring my albums, which is kept private to me right now, because they're just extended versions of 808 Fly and FSS.SS songs. But I made my parents think that they're my songs, whatever. They're private to me, so they're not ever going to be out to the public. Some blank CDs, 2 blank DVDs, which is thankfully DVD Plus are, because if I want to take something off of it, I can do just that. I got a big fat binder, the Listen and Learn Method to Speak Spanish. There's 4 cassettes in there, 2 of which are sealed actually. And I got 2 manuals in here. That's where all my Auric vacuum accessories, all the manuals, all the advertisements from all my stuff. And the manuals are in there for some reason. And for the cassettes, Polka Party, Disney Children's Favorites, Volume 2, We Sing Sing-Alongs, Further Down the Road, Volume 51. If you're a country fan, you're going to like that cassette, including the rest. And that's it for this part of the shelf. So for all my Disney tapes, Pinocchio, A Bug's Life, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia 2000, Tarzan, Snow Dogs, The Prince of Egypt, which is not Disney, but I guess it fits in because it's animated, Pinocchio, The Sword and Stone, Robin Hood, Mulan, Bambi, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan, The Little Mermaid, 101 Dalmatians, The Jungle Book, Sleeping Beauty, The Lion King, and for the Black Diamonds, The Jungle Book, again, Aladdin, 101 Dalmatians, again, and a copy of The Incredibles VHS set. It's not in a case. Alright, so as for the second and bottom shelf, we have some more of my clothes. I got a vintage Kenmore sewing machine. It came with the original manual, which is nice. Came with the almost impossible to remove the Salvation Army sticker. A loose plug, like what you would plug a cable into. And it came, okay, this is the plug. the pedal right here. And I'm guessing that I have to plug in that plug to this part on the cord, which has no end. And lastly, for the second shelf is my 1970s Osterizer Cycle Blend blender. I did blend something in this a couple days ago, but it was a strawberry smoothie. It turned out pretty well. Turned out how would you'd expect if you mix strawberry, banana, yogurt, and milk in a blender. Tasted just like that. No, it just tastes like an unsweetened strawberry smoothie. It was unsweetened, but I added some sugar and it was better. So I'm not gonna blend anything for this video, but yeah, it's a Pulsematic. I forgot to mention that. I'm not gonna blend anything. I'm just gonna turn it on and watch that very deadly blade spin to see how much power this thing could produce if you were to accidentally put your hand in there or one of your children's hands. Okay, let's press blend for air. Let's blend air. I think that was actually louder than the vacuum. I gotta give it to this. This takes the cake for the loudest thing in my collection. By far. It's deafening. Next up are these clocks here in the back that do not get any love or attention, unfortunately. First we have a Glucotrol XL, which is supposed to be a clock that also holds your medicine. In the middle is a radium clock, which may or may not be a radium clock. I mean, it may not be, because I think radium clocks are clocks that glow in the dark but don't use batteries. That one uses a battery, so I think I'm good. I've thought that for a long time and I don't know why. And on the far left is this mini Sharp clock, which has some weird writing on the back that got scribbled out. The star of the show, sitting here, is my 2002 Sharp Aquos. Now this TV has a very fun backstory. When I was walking to school one day, there was an excavator in front of one of the houses that burned down last year. And by the trash, someone must have broken in or something after they took down the boards before they torn it down. And they brought out this TV and a monitor, which I acquired both. So I took them. Like, why not? I had them on the bus. Bus driver wasn't too thrilled, but she advised me not to bring anything big like that on the bus again. I don't blame her, because it took up the seat. So when I got home that day, the house was torn in pieces, and the pile was stacked probably about 20 feet high. And I was so devastated, kind of, because, I mean, not only was that an interesting house, but a whole bunch of belongings that could have actually worked were still in that house. And on top of that, I've been walking past the house on my way home from school, on my way to school, and saw it standing. And now it's just gone. Without a warning, they just decided to tear it down one day. So, yeah. So I hope whoever retrieved this from the house illegally and brought him out to the trash had a good time looking inside while they could, because now they can't anymore. In fact, if you actually look at the property now, there's nothing there. It's just a huge patch of dirt. And it took about 2 days to clean everything up. So the nearest outlet is way over there, but using an extension cord, the TV can just barely reach to that extension cable. So we're able to turn it on. So it's on input 2 right now. So input 2. And now, before we turn on this VCR, there's the Tandy 5.5-inch, I think, mostly. It's a 5.5-inch floppy disk holder that I got with the blender and the sewing machine on Saturday, with the external floppy disk drive too, and some blank DVDs that I got the week prior. Now we'll go on to the VCR. It's a Curtis Mathes VCR CMV 42002. And I heard Curtis Mathes was a pretty expensive electronic company for TVs, so I bet they made this VCR with high quality. I mean, not really, because I still can't figure out how to rewind and fast forward on this thing, which sucks! So for some reason, the VCR didn't want to reach this time, which is weird. But now we get to turn it on. Wrong input. Let's see. There we go. There's the VCR. Hooray. Next up is this. What's the date? 1990 Monopoly Junior game. Just a brief look inside. And next is this 2002 DVD player. I know that's really old for a DVD player, but it's true. It's from 2002. And that makes me feel so blue, but it makes me feel... So here's what the DVD player looks like when it's on. There's really nothing much else to say, so... Next up is my 1992 laser monitor. It was more specifically manufactured in July or August 1992. Now I'm thinking that because of its age. It's got a connector like this, and even though it has one of the pins missing, that isn't such a big deal. What the big deal really is trying to find a match to actually plug this monitor into something, and that's not working very well, because all inputs on basically everything look just like the end of that cable, and they don't match. So yeah. Next up is... I'm so bad at grabbing stuff because I always fall. This Magnavox VHS camcorder. It's model CVM 320. It came with the strap and the light, but they didn't bother to include a battery, so I can't even test it. I mean, that would have been pretty useful, right? Being able to record nostalgic videos, but it doesn't have a battery. It doesn't even have a DC adapter. Like, what the heck, man? Next up is my Canon Type-Star 5. It's a digital typewriter, and how that works is you load paper like usual, but when you type something in, you'll notice that it doesn't automatically print on the paper. You type it in, and at the end of the line, it'll start beeping. You press return, and it starts automatically printing everything on the paper pretty fast. So this typewriter is useful if you're very good at making mistakes. Next up is my Epson projector, 1 out of 3 that I have. These projectors make up the majority of the value of my collection, because these projectors alone are valued at about $1,000 a piece. I'm so lucky I got them for free. This one, I think, is a 980W. Pretty sure. So there's that. And a series of Epson projectors. The bigger, fatter ones. The Epson Movie Mate 62, which weighs much more. And the Epson Movie Mate 60, which I do not see a difference in. Like, it does not have a difference. Next up is my 2008 Dell monitor. This cord's in the way. my 2008 Dell monitor, VGA only. And I got it bundled with an Xbox 360, which I still have. We're going to get to that in a moment. And this is the other monitor that was illegally rescued from that house. No, I'm not the one who took these out of the house, obviously, because I just told you the story. But even though it was illegally taken from the house, me taking it and it being by the trash makes it seem like that it wasn't illegal at all, which is amazing because I don't want to be known as a criminal by accident even. And I can't specify the date on this thing, but it's old enough so that it has a sticker that says works with Windows Vista. So this monitor is between 2007 and 2009. I would say probably 2007 or 2008. Because that's the Windows Vista era, and then Windows 7 took the world by storm, and some people actually still using Windows 7 today. So, yeah, it really put Windows Vista out of business, didn't it? Now, there's these two humongous boxes filled to the brim, and I actually forgot to go over these records, and I almost forgot to. There's a Percy Faith record here, and this record featuring some songs. I think some of them are country because this one has Big Iron on it. Big Iron is an old country song that none of the younger kids will understand these days. This is the Dell Studio 1737 charger. I still have this from the last collection video, and it still is in the exact same condition. This General Electric, which I cannot remember the model name of because it doesn't say on the radio itself. So I always forget the model number. Next up is this tin here. It was made in 1998, and it's supposed to be cookies. Then a very old-looking but very recent 2016 arcade machine of Space Invaders. Some empty boxes for my floppy disks, which I extracted and put them in a bin, I guess. And at the very bottom is all my schoolwork from earlier this year. Because if you don't know, I switched schools twice this year. I went to 3 schools this year, which is very overwhelming, but that's just what happened. Alright, so to continue, we have a 1950s Bell & Howell 8mm film projector that doesn't have a light bulb and doesn't have any film. That sucks! In here are just some parts. The big hard drive in there used to go to my PC that I showed you at the beginning of the video. All my floppy disks are in here, my Xbox One controller, hard drive cages. There's another hard drive in here which has a 320 gigabyte storage capacity, a random CD, and this remote, which should not be in here because it goes to my Curtis Maths VCR. And that's actually the only way I can rewind, which is just amazing how they included the remote. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to rewind. And I forgot that was in here, so that's why I didn't get to rewind the Nutty Professor last time. And now it's stuck at the end. Next up is my Dell Studio 1737 from 2009. Now here's the full story of this. So I got this back in like October for my previous school. And it used to run Windows Vista, but due to my stupidity, I ended up going back to Windows XP, then no operating system at all. Then, after a while, I went back to Windows XP with the hard drive I extracted from one of my other laptops, which I took apart because it was never going to work anyway, and I scrapped it for parts. And now all those parts are gone, besides the hard drive. So then I was back to having no operating system. Then I installed Windows 7, and that was on there for a good while. It was originally dual booted with Windows Vista again, but Windows Vista didn't work very well on this anymore, especially since it was a fresh copy. So I just deleted Windows Vista from the partition. And now it doesn't have an operating system again because the hard drive corrupted for no reason. Like, I just put it in one day, Windows 7 kept crashing, so I'm like, you know what, screw this. And I formatted it. And when I connected it to my computer, it told me that the hard drive had a problem with it, and I had to scan and fix it. And in order to fix it, I had to format it. So that was the end of Windows 7 for the Dell Studio. But I will try and reinstall it very soon. Next is the Xbox One S, the one I took the hard drive out of because I don't use it much anyways. Next up is the Xbox 360 Slim in Black, which came bundled with the 2008 Dell monitor. Next is the General Electric, not sure. It's a General Electric cassette /AM FM /timer. That means you set a timer for up to an hour, I think 2 hours, and when it goes off, it starts beeping. But not very effectively. They're not gonna fool anybody. Next is my PS2 compatible Wallace Silversmith's mouse in silver. Beautiful color. Next is my Sound Technologies Model TR200. It's a telephone two-way recorder. Actually, I'm gonna start testing these too, actually. So it's on. Turn on the radio. I mean, it could be a little louder, you know. Oh, crap. It's on the wrong one. No, not. I'm not getting copyrighted, not today. But the cassette deck does work. But this video is going to be 1,000,000 minutes long if I try to test everything in its full, so that's it for this. Now we're going to actually go back to the General Electric AM radio from the Vietnam War era, because I haven't tested that one. In. Turn it up. Switch to AM.
I'm Dr. Cheryl Figliano with the Centers for Hearing Care. If you or someone you love is having difficulty hearing, it's time to make a change in the quality of life.
I will. I would definitely do that, ma'am. Next up is my Casio HR100TM Plus. So we're going to test this too. Maybe not. I won't test this one because the paper is setting this up will be a little too time consuming for this video, and the filming of the video will take too long. Even though the video may not seem long, I've been filming and having my phone on the camera app for nearly an hour now. About an hour. About 10 minutes longer than this, so yeah. Let's go ahead and okay. NBC's Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street. Lower Basin Street. From Victor Records. There's only one in here. One of them fell out during lunch because I took this to school. I made a deal with the principal. I would bring something in every so often from my collection. One of the records fell out during lunch and broke, and another one was missing when I got it. So now there's only one left. And that one better be the one. Next up is the very destroyed 1982 Yahtzee game. There was one hole in the middle, and it just went downhill. From there. Next in the box, a great surprises: a Wii steering wheel. Next, I can't read. This is my VTech phone. It's a CS6229-3. There's actually a video of this on my channel, so go check that out. Next, is my Kobe CTP 100, CT-P100. It originally came with the original packaging, but I took it out of the packaging for some reason. And I still have the manuals, though. Next up is one of two of my Netgear wireless routers, which is not so wireless after all, because it doesn't entirely use Wi-Fi. Because you still need a modem and a router. Just like the good old-fashioned dial-up days, which sucks because it's supposed to be wireless. You don't need wires. You just need the power cable. What's wrong with that? Next up is my Vivitar PN 2011. It's small. With nothing in it, my 1989 Yahtzee travel games. There's a video on that one too, where all the stuff was actually in there instead of it spilling out with all this stuff. Next up is my 1995 Nabisco tin for graham crackers. And here's the next thing to test. Previously shown in my last collection video was my 1980s Sony Dream Machine, which has a very annoying alarm sound. So I set it to 436 and it'll go off in exactly 1 minute. Let's turn on the radio in the meantime. Alright. It's gonna go off here in a bit. In the meantime, here is my TV Now, which is basically a TV version of the Video Now. You put your SD card in there and watch videos on this thing. Made by the legendary Tiger Electronics, which made very poor screen quality electronics for kids. The screen quality was very poor. You just sit and wait. There it goes. Next is my Polaroid 200BF, probably 90s camera. Next is my Sharp. It's hard to read because it's so small. Wait a minute. SPC 089. And it's a mini clock. I did a video on this one too, but it's the Panasonic KXTG4771. And it's an office phone. Next is this Verizon flip phone, which may or may not turn on. Alright, so the battery's completely flat dead. I got the charger for it. And yeah. Without the base, my Uniden phone, which is very big, like a brick, sit in your hand, and it might be literally from the 90s. And lastly, but not least, out of that box is this AT&T flip phone. Let's see. Yep, the battery on this one is flat dead too. And now here's this box of stuff. Starting out with a 1996 copy of Titanic Challenge of Discovery for the PC and for Windows 95. Next is a game I don't know about, actually. It's Rummikub. Just another take on Cummy. Whoa, Cummy, whoa. Michigan Rummy. Audio Technica microphone with a stand. Songburst, a 1990 game that I got from my grandma recently. It's a game where you guess the lyrics. It's a complete the lyric game from the 50s and 60s. For songs from the 50s and 60s. And here's the second Netgear wireless router, which does the same thing. You need a modem and a router. So this just broke. Broke like an actual record, too. Now, I know you've been seeing the Windows 98 in there. And this is my Dell Latitude CPX from 1999 and 2000. And it's running Windows 98 2nd Edition. I have a whole video on that. In fact, it's the only edited review on my channel. So go watch that. It won't take you very long to find it because it was very recently, and I don't upload very much for some reason. I don't have an upload schedule because, well, things change, you know. Schedules change. Madden NFL 94 for the Super Nintendo, which did come with the box, but I guess the box doesn't hold it anymore. 8-track set, easy listening country. That came with the Sears stereo system from the beginning of the video. The Panasonic, this phone, which you can find in another one of my videos. This 1960s General Electric clock, model 7373K. And these headphones, which have the well, you just stop. It has the big end on the end, so I can listen to one of the cassette recorders I'm about to show you, along with that stereo system. Next up is a probably early 80s, late 70s Magnavox. And it's something. Let's plug it in. And it's on. Turn on the radio. Your locally owned and operated dealership. Since 1896, Punxsutawney Phil's been predicting the weather, and this year he delivered. Hooray! I'm so glad to hear that information. This is a random one. It's a very small Panasonic PNLC 11017, and it's an ITE accessory. So it's just an accessory. It's nothing. It's probably just a charging base. Next up is the 90s Motorola, which can also be found in one of my videos. Like I said, you don't scroll too far, and you'll find the review video. Next is the Samsung Gravity T, which doesn't have a battery, so I have to put in one of the smaller ones in order to get it to turn on. So I'm not sure if I'm not. No, actually, I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna try to turn this on anyway, because all the batteries are in there, where I'm not taking them all out again. Next up is the LG Harmony 4, I think. It's locked right now. Guess it was owned by somebody else. So, yeah, I can't unlock it. Next up is a Fellowes FS5 paper shredder. So we're gonna test this one. And although I have no idea I have no paper right now to shred this thing with. I'll just. Yeah. Next up is the HTC Amaze 4G from 2011. It's run by T-Mobile. It comes with a charging base, the charger, and about it. Other than that, the box. After that, it's the Delta camera. It came with the flash. I swear to God, if this video stops right now by accident. Delta Imperial 127, I'm pretty sure. Next out of the bin of treasures is this iPad, this mini iPad. Oh my God. Oh my God. This iPad hasn't turned off yet since I got it in December. So it's been on for nearly 4 months. And it hasn't died yet. That's insane. Guess iPad batteries are good after all. If you keep it off. That is. Just a random battery. That used to go to my Toshiba Satellite A205. But I took that apart too. Thinking that it would never work. And I was probably right. I know you're gonna get tired of me saying this, but watch the review video. This next Panasonic phone. Trust me, you'll see it. You'll see the phone in the thumbnail, and you know that's the right video. My copy of Flight Simulator 2002, and I've installed that twice. A bootleg GameCube controller. In case you didn't want to buy the official one. This is the battery that went to the Dell Inspiron. Next up is this 1940s clock, which is it's the oldest thing in my collection. Which is neat. So let's go ahead and test this. And I am about to eat dinner. So I'm gonna have to leave for about 10 minutes probably. So it's just making like a little buzzing noise right now. Do you hear anything? You can kind of hear something, but it's so old that it's a piece of junk, so it doesn't really work too well, which sucks, considering it's the oldest thing in my collection. And then there's a 1920s General Electric refrigerator on one of the houses nearby on the porch, but I don't know who to ask for that, and I don't know if they're ever going to be around, so yeah. Alright guys, I'm back from dinner. And next up is the PS2 compatible eMachines keyboard. And I bought this for a grand total of $3.17 with tax. And I still remember how much I bought it for. I was at the Salvation Army. Next is the Minolta Freedom 50 camera. 50 minutes in. And I feel like this video is going to be a lot shorter than the other one. Probably because I've been blabbing about other things. Logitech K120. It's designed for probably Windows 8 or 10 when it was made. This is the base to the big gray phone over there. Like I said, watch the video on my channel for the review. This is a Bliss coffee tin. Really old. Do not know the date though. I do know that's really old. With the strap, an Ansco 1065 camera. Selfie! Couple keys are missing, but it's a Bluetooth keyboard, and because of how small it is and its Bluetooth capabilities, this is actually valued at pretty much $60 loose, and it's a K810 model. Next up is this Chinese or Japanese EP Books e-reader. Do not ask me to translate this because I don't know. But it can actually open images and play MP3 files, which is amazing. There's the base to the Motorola phone. In fact, my brand new phone that I just got today, the phone I'm recording this on, is a Motorola too. What a surprise! I'm picking up a vintage Motorola phone with a Motorola phone. Crazy. There's the base to the other Panasonic. The one with the larger screen, the one that was black. This one doesn't have a base, but it's a VTech CS6114. I do not abuse my stuff like this. It's just the small things that don't break easily. And oh boy. Next up is this Casio calculator. There's that. Next up is this Samsung. I forget the name of it because it's definitely not a Galaxy. Because I know that when I search it up. Equibank collectible bank. There's an axle and a wheel missing. That's in the other box. And there's the box of the Madden NFL that you really thought was a loose copy, probably. A ZTE phone. This battery that went to my HP Mini 1000. And I took that one apart too because of an accident where I thought the keyboard and mouse didn't work, but in all reality, I just kind of screwed it up. Asteroids for the Atari 2600. You could watch the video on my I don't know if it's still up. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, my baby brother is crying. But you can watch the video on my channel of Asteroids. Next up is the Panasonic RQ2309AV cassette recorder. Next is the 1980s Kodak Disc 6000. Oh my god! And I didn't know how to actually take a photo on this thing until I popped open the front, and then I figured it out. So the rest of the things in this box is phone batteries and a DirecTV adapter, along with a couple boxes that were squished. that made these video games loose copies. Almost. And lastly, for this video, thank God, a 2009 manufactured replacement NES controller. So I'm just going to put all this stuff back and we'll call it a video. So that's it for this video. That is everything in my collection, and it ended up being a lot shorter than I thought it would be. So yeah. There's not really much else to say, except for the fact that I finally get to end this video. Can you believe this video was 10 minutes shorter than my last one? Probably because I was yapping a lot in that other one. Even though I had a lot less stuff then, look at me now. My collection is worth $6,000 now, when it used to be worth about $2,000 in January. Maybe just a little more than $1,000. 1,500. I don't know. So yeah, that is everything in my collection. And the fact that we went over about 260 things in my collection is insane. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.